What's up, guys and girls? Today I'm going to be talking about Attack on Titan. And so today I will be discussing everything from the last video on Attack on Titan up until now. So, last video was on everything from the start until the beginning of chapter 38. And now I will be discussing from there until 40, the end of 40. Specifically what just happened in chapter 40. This is ridiculous stuff. Yet again, I am astonished in a good way by the author because all my theories have just been like turned upside down. It's like everything doesn't even make sense anymore because it's like it still makes sense to a certain extent, but certain theories that I thought were solid are now no longer solid anymore. It's very strange because it's like the author like almost knows what the reader will like put out as his possible as a possible rationality to explain all of this conspiracy, and then he just subtly breaks these theories with like a certain event in the series. And it's even crazier because I usually um, my theories are always something that's very unique or bizarre because I stray from the mainstream or simplistic answer to things because that's too obvious. Regardless, this is going to be I like to call it a good and bad thing. It's a good thing for those of you who are complaining that this is the millionth Attack on Titan video. It's a bad thing because it's coming to an end pretty soon because I have finished the episodes, the anime, and I'm at 41 now. Well, I'm about to start 41, and there's only 53 chapters, and the last day's chapter was just released a couple of days ago. So it's like coming to an end. Well, not an end, but coming to an end as far as readable material, and so it's a little bit of both. But I have confidence there's still a lot to come to read and a lot of meat to digest. So before I get into it, I think the biggest thing I miss about the anime is how clean it is. Everything's very cleanly drawn, and I can very distinctly tell who each character is. In this, it's much harder to tell, and a lot of times it's harder to discern exactly what is being drawn. Like, let just be known that the drawings are very sloppy compared to the anime, which one could argue is just it's a natural sort of expected thing, but it really confuses me, especially during the fighting animations when it's a lot different. It's very sloppy to a point where I can't. I have to really sit there and analyze the picture, and even then sometimes I can't figure out what is going on in the fighting scenes, whereas it was a lot more clear and clear cut in the anime. Regardless though, I restrained the urge to do videos on chapter 38 and 39 while I was reading them because they take a lot of work, and when you're only getting like 5 to 10 views per video, is that really worth like an hour's worth of critique and dialogue? I mean, I enjoy them to a certain extent, but I usually enjoy them more when there's a greater audience watching them, which I don't have. Regardless though, I couldn't hold back. There's so much to talk about. A lot to talk about that I missed before, but I'm hoping I can remember everything. Most likely I won't. So let's just get into it. Spoiler alert. So much to be said. Ymir is a Titan as well. An accomplice to Annie? Maybe. Probably. And as far as strength goes, she was not in the top 10, but she's a human Titan. So that begs the question of a lot of things. Yeah, here's another hidden human Titan who can transform and who has a good heart. But this time she's different in the fact that well, supposedly different. Maybe Annie's the same. that she is also she's a bloodline descent of one of the inner royal family, which Annie may be as well, which could possibly explain the flashback. On the other hand, though, with Ymir, I mean, it could explain Annie's flashback with his dad saying all this stuff like the world may be against you, but your dad will always be. It could be another thing like that. Maybe Annie was also a illegitimate child of the royal family, which begs the question, maybe all the royal family members have some sort of human titan capability. And maybe Eren is also an illegitimate child or something like that. On the flip side, though, we have I think her name is Connie or something like that. Maybe not Connie, but the short blonde-haired girl that Ymir is always protecting. She doesn't have. Well, she could have human titan abilities, but she consciously does not know it herself. So maybe it's not like that. However, we have Ymir here. They are cornered, so she takes the knife, she transforms, and there's a lot of like heroic, thematic, philosophical concepts floating about that Ymir states. It's very noble, very heart-touching as well. She doesn't just jump off the tower and start fighting these titans. She's like talking to the blonde-haired girl, and she's like, no matter what happens, I can't control your life or your decisions, but just remember to hold your head up high and keep your original family name and be proud of yourself, or something like that. And then she jumps down, attacking these titans. And here is another cliffhanger. The two other commanders, or not commanders, the two other troops, I think one of, I forgot their names. Ganir died. But two of the other soldiers, they immediately recognized her as one of the titans that they had faced long ago. Now, I saw this panel, which I'm gonna show you in a split second. Go! And in this panel, I'm like, I don't remember any of this. Then again, I didn't read the manga for the first 25 episodes, but I still didn't remember it. So I looked specifically at the panel, and it was when they were younger, so before they were soldiers. So that really confuses me even more, because we have Ymir here, who is a titan, and she is voluntarily eating humans, even though she is a human herself, which begs the question, like, what the heck is going on? And I love it because I feel like I have like made and explained every possible theory, and for them to sort of, for the author to constantly just switch it up so that all the theories sort of break slightly, it is ingenious because it's keeping me on my toes, which usually isn't done, because usually I have like the theory down pat and it's like, great, the author did not exceed my expectations. But this is really good. I mean, for any manga in the first 40 chapters, other than maybe Naruto and maybe One Piece, but not even, and maybe Bleach and Yu Yu Hakusho and Dragon Ball. Other than those, it's like, it's very rare for such a manga to have such an amazing first 40 chapters. I love Toriko to death, but it took a while to get the ball rolling, I'm not gonna lie. So this really confuses me. My theory is still intact, but I feel like maybe it's somewhat different now. I feel like maybe there's a band of intellectually smart titans that order around all the dummy titans, and Ymir is, despite being a human, for whatever reason, for the whatever that's constantly referenced as the greater good beyond saving humanity, she has to eat her own kin in a way to create this greater good. What is this greater good? My theory, as I've explained before, is that the greater good is to keep humanity united so that they are prevented from fighting from each other for ethnicity or racial discrimination or something else. But then again, that begs the question: what about the natural resources and so forth that they will be fighting for as the Titans advance and take their lands? Um, so it's very strange, but that could answer that question. Remember that scene where the girl was like talking to his dad? It was like a flashback, and they were like arguing about whether to keep their traditions or merge with the traditions of the majority group, despite it clashing with their own culture because of the Titans pushing them into their land. Maybe it was like a forced decision in order to combine and unite cultures. Probably not. So it's very interesting. And then Ymir, she probably knows the hardening ability and so forth, because she cut her hand in the same way. More importantly, though, there's so many things in 38 and 39 that I wanted to explain, but I've now forgotten because I restrained myself from making a video on it. Here's another thing. Ymir's Titan form is very strange. Like, I'm looking at the picture here, and it's like she doesn't have boobs. It's just like spikes sticking out that all like add together to form a boob. But maybe that was because she hadn't completely formed it yet. I think that may be the case. Regardless, though, there's more important pressing stuff to talk about. The hairy Titan. First off, there's so many things that boggle my mind that change everything. First is the fact that the hairy Titan climbed the wall. He literally climbed the wall. I think it was Wall Rose, which changes everything, because here's the thing. They found that the wall was sealed. There's no holes in it. So that begs the question, where did these Titans come from? And then I changed my theory on the spot, and I'm like, maybe they were all humans turned into Titans, and maybe their memory was wiped, or they were ordered now to do stuff they didn't want to. And then we have the hairy Titan climbing the wall, so I'm like, maybe he helped all the other Titans climb the wall, or maybe he taught them how to climb, or maybe only he could climb the wall, and he's converting the Titans. And that begs the question, like, what the heck is he doing? Is he, like, he's obviously throwing rocks at them now, trying to kill them, and he's ordering around the dummy Titans to, like, a strategic plan to kill these guys. But it's like, why? What's going on? And I don't think it's, I don't think it's that extravagant of a answer, because it was sort of kind of given away when the hairy Titan spoke. He went up to the human and he was like, what are these weird things on your back that allow you to fly around? I thought you could speak human as well. Ah, well, I'll just take it back with me and we will discover how it works. And he says this all to the human who's too afraid to talk. And he also orders the Titans around, tells them to stop eating the humans and so forth. And the Titans listen and so forth. So here's my theory. I feel like the stupid Titans are the shorter ones, and they can understand human dialogue and so forth, but they're so stupid that they can't empathize with humans, and they can't relate to the humans crying and the fact that they're suffering when they eat them. Then we got the aberrant intellectuals, and this hairy one's like a specific special one. Maybe he hasn't been back in a long time, hundreds of years. I mean, the 3D maneuvering gear's been around for quite a while, and it's very confusing because it's like none of the Titans as of before could climb the wall. They had to break the wall to get through. So this is like a new thing, or maybe they all could climb the wall before, and the walls were just an illusion of security. And then there's that strange thing that was never explained from way back that most people probably skimmed and forgot about, which was the idea that it was Ymir, I think. Ymir went along and she was looking for food or whatever. I think it was Ymir. It may have been someone else. And she finds a can of herring and she's like, herring. And then the soldier behind him is like, how could you see this? It's pitch black. How did you read the writing? and then it just cuts scene. So I there's so many characters and it's so hard to differentiate. I don't know if Ymir killed that guy or they just simply resolved it, but yeah, it was very sketchy. And now I guess it's explained if it was Ymir. It may have been someone else, but now it can be explained that Ymir was a human titan. But that also kind of implies that human titans can, in fact, see in the dark. And then there's other questions like titans can survive in the dark and they're not drones in the dark. So my whole theory about how the why the titan in the wall could not have sunlight shed on him, it's kind of broken, but not really, because maybe that's a different type of titan that rule still applies towards. But maybe these are different types of titans where, in fact, what's going on is that they can move in the dark. So is that really a big problem? It is in the fact that they're like new, like revelation. Wouldn't call it revelation, but it would make a lot more sense. As in, like it was just recently brought up, but the fact that they're now exploiting the fact that titans can't move in the dark or something like that. Like that wouldn't make sense though, because here's the thing. I know for sure that at one point they said that like the titans went to sleep during the nighttime or something like that. But then there was also a few references to the fact that the titans could, and they knew this before they saw the titans moving in the dark. And I'm pretty much referencing that one scene where they are still checking to find out where the hole in the wall is, and all they have are torches, and they're scared to death because they're scared that the torches have such little like light in terms of radius of light that the titans, like, they'll just run into a bunch of titans and they'll be eaten up. So that means that titans can move and talk in the dark, and they knew this before this. But then why were they all like complaining when the titans, when they first saw the titans run up to them at night and like attack them in the turret or tower? Yes, this is getting really, really nerdy. Wow. And right now I'm just browsing through the chapter to see if I missed anything. Let me see here. So yeah, it's still very confusing. We don't know what's going on. It's still very tragic. And then there's that one scene where the guy is like, he knows he's gonna die, so he's like, all I want is like a drink of beer or whatever that wine, that alcohol is. And then he's about to die and he notices beer and he's like, thank you God, and he picks it up, and it's like that classic thing, that dying thing. It was actually shown before in this is gonna sound pretty nerdy how I know this, but the Mortal Kombat fake trailer on YouTube, where the guy, like, he knows he's about to die, so he takes one last puff of his cigarette before he dies. So yeah, he pours the wine and he drinks it, and there's nothing comes out. And before nothing comes out, I'm like, oh God, this has been done quite a few times already. And then it's like, nothing comes out, and then he dies in pain. It was really tragic, honestly. But I guess it breaks from the norms of what we expect to happen. So it's really disgusting and disgruntling to see all this pain and tragedy. Really, I hurt for all these people who, like, they're just like fighting all these titans, and the titans just outnumber them, and then they just die, and they get eaten and slaughtered, and their legs get ripped off like chicken. It's so ridiculously crazy. Like, so many of them have died so far, like when they're cornered and stuff, and it's crazy how these things can happen. That's all I can say. So there's still a lot of mysteries and questions, and I want to end with the fact that at least as far as I can tell from what I've read so far, like Aaron seems like a different person in the manga. I've only seen him for a little bit, but like he's been constantly tired, and he's less outspoken, and it seems like his transformation into Titan form takes a huge toll on him. It's a huge drain on him. Um, and apparently that wasn't the case in the anime. I don't know if things changed. Um, but yeah, that's all I gotta say. The final thing would be yeah, I am curious to see what happens because there's so many questions still to be answered, and then will we ever get to the basement in time? Um, it's there's a lot of big questions, and so that's all I gotta say. As always, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe.